everyone, it's Fionn and welcome back to my channel, Croeso Oliver channel. I have a reading vlog today inspired by Sarah Caroli, in which my Instagram followers kind of blindly chose my TBR. So like I said, this was inspired by Sarah Caroli, and what she did is she posted a picture of two books side by side and she coloured them in with the colours of the front covers. And so you can see the colours but not any of the details about the book. And I believe the first time she did this, that's all she did, and then she just put up a poll saying number 1 or number 2 or whatever. Since then she's done this a few more times and she's added a couple of emojis to kind of give a bit more of a hint about what the books are. I've seen loads of people do this since. I myself really enjoyed watching those videos. I'm guessing a lot of other people did too. I've definitely seen Maisie May do it recently, whose videos I've been really enjoying lately. I'm pretty sure I've seen Ellen Catherine do it too, but loads of people have done this. And I wanted to join in and have a go too. So the way I did it was I kind of put two books with like opposing features. So for example, a hardback versus a paperback, a romance versus a fantasy, a short book versus a long book, that kind of a thing. I didn't actually use any of those ones in this this time around, but that's the kind of idea, and I had a lot of fun putting up the polls and just seeing what people voted for. But I really hope you enjoy this one, and let's get into the first book. So as you can see here, the first one I put up was between a romance and a thriller. I just coloured them in and added the poll, and the winner was the romance with 64% over 36%, and this was actually the highest number of votes I've ever had on an Instagram poll, which was cool. And the romance in question was The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. Good morning everyone, it's Saturday afternoon. Oh Lord. Good morning everyone, it's Saturday afternoon. Oh dear. I am about 80 pages through this so far. I'm enjoying it so far, but I'm not super hooked yet, but hopefully I will. I'm really trying to be more mindful about my reading at the moment and like more open-minded to enjoy different things, because I think sometimes I'm going into things and being like, so I'm at the moment, the last book, Powerless, and this one, I'm really trying to be like, make an effort to be open-minded and give it the opportunity to be a 5-star read, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of what I'm going for at the moment. I will keep you updated, but so far, so good. Just a little update, I haven't read much since we last spoke, only another 25 pages, but they've admitted that they are attracted to each other and they have chemistry straight off the bat, which I appreciate so much, especially after reading Powerless by Lauren Roberts, is the last book I read, and they were just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth the whole book, saying like, trying to deny that they had feelings for each other, and I just find that annoying, to be honest. So yeah, I'm just so happy. Like, it's obviously not going to be that easy, I know, but they've at least acknowledged the fact that, yeah, I do like you, and yeah, oh yeah, I like you too, but let's hang fire for a little bit. Just like that. I did find her a little bit pushy, the bit I literally just read, so that would have been the end of chapter 13. She was a little bit pushy, but on the whole, very happy with how that chapter went. And I'm going to keep reading. Morning everyone. I'm a bit croaky because I've literally just woken up. It's not even Sunday, it's not even 8 o'clock yet on a Sunday morning, but I just woke up and instantly thought, oh, I want to get back to my book. And you just know it's such a great book when you're just so excited to read it. So I have really good feelings about this one. Excited, and I'm just going to get straight back to it. tonight. I've made lunch for tomorrow and the day after. I've made overnight oats for tomorrow. I've got my clothes out for the gym. I've got my clothes out for work. I've smashed it. And now I'm going to read for probably like an hour. I'm not going to finish this tonight. I've read 234 out of 401, so that's... So just under 3 hours left. I think. So, I mean, I would love to finish this on Tuesday, but it's probably going to be more like Wednesday or Thursday. But that's fine. I'm going to get back to it now. Get cozy and have an early night. I'm back to it tomorrow. I'm conflicted. Because over the weekend I was like getting strong 5-star feelings about this book. And I have not had a 5-star read this year yet. And I was like, oh my god, this is going to be the one. And then yesterday and today, I'm like, it's lost me a little bit. And I'm still enjoying it, but it's not, I'm not like about it. But I don't know if that's because over the weekend I read like an hour and 20 pages both days. Whereas yesterday I probably read like a couple of chapters, and same today so far. So is that an accurate representation? Because I've been busy, I've been back at work. So I've not had as much time to get immersed in the story. I don't know. I'm just like earlier on I was thinking, earlier on in the book I mean, like, it just like, I know I said before that I liked that they were acknowledging their attraction for one another. But I had thought to myself, like, even the intimate moments are done so tastefully, and you can tell that they're like emotionally attracted to one another rather than just physical. But now I'm like, you know, if you're like in your feels about someone because you've like realised you're falling for them, and then there's some sort of conflict and it doesn't go your way, then when you're like pining after them, to me that's like she's expressing herself, pouring her heart onto the page about how much she misses him. And like, it's really hard to say without going into spoilers, but then the next sentence is like, and I really miss Dick too. And I'm just like, it's not the time. I don't know, it's hard, I don't know. I think like that's done for comedic effect, but I guess it's just not for me. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna get back to reading now. Ugh. There's no need to be an arse though, is there? Yes, busy. As I was coming to the end of the first book, it was time to put up the poll for the second one. I had just had my pre-order arrive for Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, and I really wanted to read it. So I put it up alongside another book I'd have been happy to read and tried to think of a way I could compare them. I went with their release date. So I put up the poll, coloured them in and listed them as a new release and a slightly older release. and Rewitched won with once again a 64% majority. Hello everyone, I'm about to start my next book for this video, but I realised I never gave my final thoughts on the True Love Experiment, and I am toying with the idea of doing like a full review of it in its own video. After I heard Angel Raposo talking about that in one of her recent videos, saying that she'd like to get into doing that, and I'd never really thought of it before, but I was like, maybe I could do that. But I feel like I gave most of my thoughts in the clips throughout anyway. So basically, just to say, I absolutely loved it and I decided on a 4.75 star rating. So I finished that and then read another book, which was my prompt for this month. So yesterday I put up the poll for the next book to start today, and there's a book that I really wanted to start which arrived last week. It just came out, which is Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, and I've been really looking forward to this. It's highly anticipated. Not because I honestly have no idea if I'm gonna love the book, but I used to watch Lucy Jane Wood's videos. She used to make like lifestyle videos on YouTube when I was like 14. I used to watch her all the time. So when she said she was writing, I hadn't watched her videos for ages, and then one came up saying she was writing a book. I was like, oh my god, I have to read that. And I actually pre-ordered it because I saw that that's actually really a good way to support authors. I hate hardbacks, but it was worth it to show my support. So I'm hoping I really enjoy this. I am a little bit nervous about it because I'll feel really bad if I don't like it. But it is what it is. It's personal. It's personal to eat everyone's tastes, not as in it's personal to the author if you don't like it. But yeah, enough about that. I posted up a poll with this book and The Simple Wild, which was released in 2018, and I said, should I read the new release or the slightly older book, and this one won, and I'm going to start here. But look at my bookmark. Don't you love it? I made it myself. I love it. And let's start Rewitched. First things first, get that off. I did see that loads of people had it with sprayed edges, and I don't normally like sprayed edges that much, but they did look really nice. I don't know if I just missed the boat with that one because I did the pre-order kind of late, but I don't have that, and I don't really know how they did. Who grew up on the wonder of witches and knew that magic would be found at their own fingertips. Big font. Love that. I'm just going to read you this. Belle's powers weren't completely dormant, they were just a little sleepy. Belladonna Blackthorn hasn't lost her magical spark, but she hasn't seen it in a while either. Balancing work at her beloved London bookshop, Luna Books, with handling her toxic boss and concealing her witchcraft from those around her, Belle is burnt out. Perfecting the potential of her magic is the last thing on her mind. But when her 30th birthday brings a summons from her coven and a trial that tests her worthiness as a witch, Belle risks losing her magic forever. With only a month to fix things and a suspicion that dark forces may be working against her, Belle will need all the help she can get from the women in her life, from an unlikely mentor figure, and even from an infuriating coven watchman who's sworn to protect her. With found family, a dash of romance, and an uplifting message about self-love, Rewitched is a cosy autumnal fantasy that will leave readers spellbound. So far I've got to like a break in the first chapter, and we've met Belle. She's working in a bookshop. The current owner is an old lady who's looking to move on, and she has got her son on board to help with keeping it running basically, and he's a corporate guy working with facts and figures, and he's not very nice. Belle is 2 days from her 30th birthday, so I guess we'll wait and see what happens then. And she is not really in touch with her magic. She doesn't use it. She doesn't know any of the witches apart from her mum, and that's where we're at. So I'm gonna keep going and catch up with you over the next few days probably. So much longer to read than I anticipated, and it's not that I'm not enjoying it, but I'm not gripped by it. I'm not really finding it exciting. Shivery timber. Ooh. I've just had an idea of what might be happening, which is interesting. Finally, it was time for the third poll, a parenting memoir versus a war memoir. As always, I took the picture, coloured the books and added the poll. Hey guys, so I started the third and final book for this vlog a couple of days ago, but I've read less than 20 pages, so I'm not really into it yet. But it's called Francie's War by Francie Webnick Epstein. The poll was between two memoirs, a war memoir and a parenting memoir, and this one won is obviously the war memoir. But I've had a look and all of the votes won 64 to 36, all three of them, which I think is really funny. But I'm gonna get going with this and we'll see how it goes. Wow. I finally finished the third and final book for this vlog. Yay. And I say that as if I haven't had a good time, but it's just that it's taken a lot longer than I anticipated. And the first book I read for this vlog I really loved, but the other two have been quite average. I did like reading the last little bit of this one though, where it's the afterword written by Francie's daughter. So it's basically a memoir of this Czechoslovak woman, Francie, her experiences. She was arrested as a Jewish citizen of Czechoslovakia and detained, although she herself wasn't religious, but she had documented Jewish grandparents. Yeah, and it's just talking all about that. She spent a brief period of time at Auschwitz, but she also was at other places called Terezin, Bergen-Belsen, amongst others. I don't think that's all of them. And then eventually was freed, but obviously still lived with all the trauma of what had happened. It's just crazy to think that people went through this. I can't really comprehend it. I don't think this was the best written book. And it's really difficult to say that about someone's life experience, because I'm not diminishing her experience and her story, but it wasn't as captivating as other similar books I've read. For example, Three Sisters by Heather Morris, another story, another war memoir from World War II, but it just wasn't the same. Like, that book I thought was absolutely astonishing. This one is probably going to sit at 3.25 stars, but that's fine. I'm really glad I've read it, and it is a very powerful read. Just the whole situation of World War II is very humbling to read about. I will say, and I hadn't really noticed this reading as I read through it, but in their afterword written by her daughter, she points out that Francie, when she was writing the memoir, and this is not an exact replica of what she'd written herself, but it's pretty much there. They've made a few changes to make it make more sense and make it have better flow, and to make it more accurate, where they've managed to use the internet to get like data and documents about who people actually were. But it was completely focused on women at the camps, which was a nice feature. I'm glad I read this. I've had it on my TBR for a very long time, on my physical TBR as well for a very long time. But it definitely didn't match up to Three Sisters for me. On to the next book. See you in the next vlog or video, whatever it is.